Speaking of Islam, I'm reminded of Dr. Abdul Razak Korbu. He was a professor of law from Maharashtra, a state in India. I think Sangli district. In the college there, he used to teach law. And in 1977, he happened to have his first darshan of Bhagwan. And though Islam is against the worship of an individual as God or a form, you don't have form at all. He fell in love with Swami. He loved Swami. And he just felt that this being is so full of love. At the same time, he was not very impressed with all these materializations. Swami waving his hand and creating some chain or ring or vibhuti. And he said, okay, fine, that's just a distraction, but this is a very loving and wonderful being. And he felt very happy. He fell in love with Swami. And love has no reason, no season. We fall in love and it's love at first sight for him. That was how it was. In 1981, he got to know that a new university had begun at Puttaparthi and they were looking out for lecturers and professors for 14 different subjects, one of which was mercantile law. And since he was a professor of law, he felt, oh God, this is great. Let me go and teach this subject. I'll apply for this. So excited he was that he immediately resigned from his university where he was working and he applied to this university. Only later he got to know that an advertisement for these 14 positions had been posted in the Sanatana Sarathi. And more than 1,000 applications had arrived. Because when he went to Puttaparthi, he was told that you please wait patiently. We have got more than 1,000 applications. We need to process them. He got dejected. He felt, oh my God, where is the chance? 1,000 applications. So with a heavy heart, he returned back. Now he's not even having a job. Doesn't know what to do because he's already resigned. Dear brothers and sisters, when you give up the world for the sake of God, God can never let you down. Swami will never let us down when we choose him. He can't. Swami loves the devotee much more than the devotee can love Swami. Just as the devotee yearns for Swami, Swami yearns for the devotee. Swami is just waiting. Why else will God put on all the limitations of a human form, take on all the troubles and suffering of a human form and come to earth and get himself locked in one small room, stuck to a schedule where morning and evening you have to give darshans and listen to the headaches and problems and worries of people. Just imagine Swami's physical life. How difficult, how terrible, how boring, no vacations, nothing. Keep seeing problems day in and day out, and keep consoling people. Health problem, wealth problem, relationship problem, this problem, that problem, small problem, big problem, rank problem, keep consoling, giving strength. Any one of us would have broken down on day one itself. If 10 people come and tell their problems to us, we feel so weighed down. Oh, enough, I can't listen anymore. Please I need to recharge myself. And God does this because of immense love. We think it's a cliche, the love of 1,000 mothers, but that's what it is. Swami had decided that it was time for Abdul Razak to come to him. And what happened? April of that year in 1981, Abdul Razak gets a letter informing him that he has been selected as a teacher. And he wonders, how did this happen? I have not given any interview also. I have not even been interviewed. So he landed up in Puttaparthi. And Dr. V.K. Gokak, the first Vice Chancellor of the Sathya Sai University, he calls him and he tells, let me tell you how you were selected. We received more than 1,000 applications for 14 posts. And we had no clue how to go about sorting these. So we went to Swami. Swami said, "Don't worry, I will come there and solve your problem." And a couple of days later, Swami goes to the administrative block, the newly inaugurated ad block. And all the 1,000+ applications are spread before him. And randomly, Swami picks up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this, 14. Take these 14 and send them call letters. Employ these 14 as my teachers. And can you believe it? Those 14 envelopes contain teachers for each of those 14 different subjects. And Dr. V.K. Gokak shows Abdul Razzaq's envelope to him and shows him the unopened 1,000 odd envelopes. And he says, "We have not even opened the other envelopes." So when we think of how Swami chooses us, let us realize that we have not come to Swami by chance, by accident. Even if the name Sai has fallen on our ears, it is not by chance. It is because Swami has willed. If we have had the chance to take his name, Sai Ram, Sathya Sai Ram, it's not by chance. It's his grace. It's his love that pours on all of us, for which we should always be grateful. Blessed are we that we are able to see him even in a photograph. Just think of it. No other God photograph exists in this world. Swami has given us that blessing that we can see him. Well, Abdul Razzaq's story doesn't end there. Swami had called him again for multiple interviews. During the interview, Swami asks him, "What's your name?" "Abdul Razzaq." "What's the meaning of Abdul?" "Swami, Abdul means devotee." "What's the meaning of Razzaq?" He didn't know. Swami said, "Razzaq means God." "Who is God?" "Swami, God is God." Swami said, "Allah." "What is Allah?" And Abdul Razzaq says, "Allah is God." He said, No, Allah means the one who is the supreme, the most supreme one. That is Allah. In Sanskrit, that is called Param Atma, the supreme Atma, Paramatma. Paramatma, Allah, that is what? It's the same. And then Swami looks into his eyes and says, "Hey Abdul, I am your Razzaq." That's it. Professor Abdul Razak Korbu breaks down. He's in tears. He falls at Swami's feet and he's in bliss. And Swami asks him, "Tell me what you want." He says, "Swami, I want something which is the essence of the entire universe and is in some way connected to my religion." And Swami says, "You are born in the religion of Islam. You yourself don't know anything about Islam." And he agrees. Swami lifts his hand and starts pulling back his robe. And then tells him, "You have doubts about the materialization, right?" He's just amazed. And Swami says, "Look at my hand. Touch." Abdul Razzaq is hesitating. So Swami picks his hand and makes him rub all over his hand and says, "You did." Then Swami says, "Now look." And even as he looks at Swami's hand, in the middle of his palm, a hole appears, exuding brilliant light, and from that emerges a ring, which Swami catches and gives it to him. Live demonstration in front of his eyes. And Swami shows the precious gemstones that surround the ring, and Swami says these gemstones represent all the vibrations of the universe. And what's in the center there? There is a crescent with the star on it in green. And then there is some mystical arrangement. Abdul Razak is so thrilled. And Swami puts the ring. Swami says, I will not put it on your right hand because your fingers have got twisted there. I'll put it on your left hand. Again he's thrilled. And to the left hand ring finger Swami puts, and it's a perfect fit. Later on, when Professor Abdul Razak came out and met another friend of his who was a devout Muslim, he looks at the ring and says that mystical design which you see represents Allah. And Abdul Razak himself didn't know. So thrilled. He served for a few years as a visiting professor in Swami's university. He's written a book as well. Amazing.